Good morning all of you and welcome to English class. So we have been learning the lesson The Adventure of Goldilocks. So half of the lesson we completed in the previous class, and the remaining lesson let us see today. So once again let us recap what we understood in the previous class. So as we have seen, Goldilocks was the name of a girl. The parents of Goldilocks were living at the edge of the forest, and the girl Goldilocks, she always loved, she was very much interested in going into the forest and seeing what were the things that were there in the forest. But many times she tried to go into the forest to see the beauty or the beautiful things in the forest, but the mother of Goldilocks, she suggested or she advised a number of times not to go into the forest, because the mother felt that the forest was not a safer place for the Goldilocks to enter and go and see. But one day when her mother was away, Goldilocks found the time and she entered into the forest, and she started entering the forest. And as she was going into the forest, she saw so many beautiful birds and their beautiful sounds, and she felt so happy for such a melodious sounds and such a beautiful birds. And she continued exploring in the forest, and finally when she wanted to return back, she couldn't know the way that she entered the forest. So when she was in confusion, when she was in search of the way, luckily she found a cottage. She went there. Maybe she went there to ask the people who were there in the cottage for the way by which she had come into the forest. But there was nobody when she when she went near to the hut, there was nobody inside. She knocked the door. Since there was nobody inside, she decided to enter the house. She entered the house. Soon after entering the house, she saw 3 bowls which were filled with the porridge. And after that, what had happened, we have to see in today's class. Good. Goldilocks entered the house, and soon after opening the door of the house, she found some bowls of porridge, and she felt like this: oh, nice porridge. I love porridge. I am very hungry. Let me eat some. I'll eat from the big bowl, she thought. As I have said, there were 3 bowls which were filled with porridge. Goldilocks was so happy because maybe she was hungry. That's why she felt so happy, and also she loved to taste this porridge. Porridge means soft meal made by boiling oats or rice with milk or water. That is what we call porridge. And she wanted to eat the porridge. Oh, ouch! It's so hot. Let me try the porridge in the medium bowl. It's very cold. There were 3 bowls. Goldilocks was in confusion to taste which porridge would look, to taste the porridge from the bowls. Maybe at first she wanted to taste the porridge which was there in a big bowl, but it was very hot when she wanted to taste. And after that she wanted to try the porridge which was there in the medium bowl, but that was very cold. The first one, the big bowl, the porridge which was there in big bowl was very hot. Therefore, she decided to taste the porridge which was there in the medium bowl, but it was very cold. Then what was her choice? Only the small bowl was her choice. Then she felt by looking at the small bowl, this was warm and appetizing. I'll eat all of this. After seeing the small bowl, and she just tasted, it was warm enough. It was not so hot and it was not so cold. It was very warm. She was getting temptation to eat that porridge which was there in the small bowl. So there is a word here, appetizing. Appetizing means tempting a person to eat, which means Goldilocks was tempted to taste the porridge which was there in the small bowl. She had a stomach full of porridge from the small bowl, yet she ate happily, and she was well, let's see what is she is telling. Oh, I am very sleepy. After eating the porridge, Goldilocks felt very sleepy. She wanted to have a sleep, and she went into the sleep. Now, this whole incident happened in a cottage which was there in the forest, which means this house doesn't belong to Goldilocks. If this house doesn't belong to Goldilocks, to whom this house belongs to? Let's see in the previous paragraphs. The Goldilocks started sleeping. When the Goldilocks started sleeping, there entered 3 bears. Maybe there entered 3 bears. The bears entered very barely and freely into the cottage, which means that was maybe the living place of these 3 bears. And they were discussing after entering into the house, what the bears were discussing among themselves. The one was telling, I am hungry, and the other one was telling, all of us are hungry, let's eat our supper. They were discussing. Who were discussing like that I am hungry, let's eat all our supper? The bears which entered the cottage in the forest, they were discussing like that. When these 3 bears they entered their dining hall, they found some changes in the positions of the bowls, or let's see what were the changes that they found. One, the bear which went and sat in front of the big bowl, it was telling, somebody tasted my porridge. And the another bear, who tasted my porridge, it was telling, which means it's the bear which was sitting in front of the medium bowl. There is no porridge in my bowl, the thief has eaten up all. The bear which was sitting in front of the small bowl was feeling like this, which means they were with these opinions like that. Maybe the big bear, he might be eating the porridge which was there in the big bowl, the medium bowl porridge was eaten by another bear which was smaller than the big bear, and a baby bear was eating the porridge which was there in the small bowl. Why they felt that somebody had eaten the porridge, and why they felt that somebody has tasted the porridge? Because the position of the bowls had been changed. At the same time, one bowl was completely empty. That's why they understood, those bears understood that somebody tasted the porridge, and since it was one of the small bowl was empty, they understood that somebody had eaten it. Therefore, they wanted to search for the thief who entered the hut and ate the porridge. Therefore, they were discussing like this. Those bears were discussing like that. Who has come into our house? Let's catch him. Who entered the house and who tasted this porridge in our bowls? They wanted to catch. Therefore, they were in search of the thief who entered their hut. Finally, one bear saw by looking at the girl, and it called the other bears, saying, "Here is the thief." One of the bears shouted loudly like, "Here is the thief," which means the bear might have seen Goldilocks sleeping. After eating the porridge, the girl Goldilocks fell asleep. Maybe she was hungry. After eating the porridge, she wanted to sleep. That's why she slept there, and she was in unconsciousness. After sleeping, she fell deep sleep. And when the bear called the other bears, that calling, "Here is the thief," all the bears came near to the Goldilocks. She is the one who has eaten my porridge. All of them were discussing like that. all the three bears were discussing, this is the girl, or this is the person who had tasted my porridge. When one was telling, the other one was telling, yeah, this is the one which had which had completed my porridge. Like that, they started discussing, and maybe they were planning to harm, or they were planning to take revenge on Goldilocks, who had eaten the porridge of these bears. And finally, Goldilocks, very cleverly, she escaped from the cottage and escaped from the harm of the bears, and she found the way luckily to go home. She reached home, and when she was going home, she was telling, I found the way to my house. She found the way to her house, and finally she reached her house. And when she reached her house, mother scolded her, telling, didn't I warn you not to go into the forest? Did I not warn you not to go into the forest? Why didn't you heed my word? Why didn't you listen my word? Like this, the mother warned Goldilocks. So from this, what message or what theme can we get is, as children, we may have different desires and we may have different thoughts. Sometimes we need to obey our parents' words. What they say, it is for the good of us. Therefore, we should listen to our parents' words, and we should think whether what we are doing is correct or not. So that is the message that this lesson gives, the adventure of Goldilocks. So thank you.